What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the pre-match build-up for Manchester United against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Mason Mount returns to a ground where so many memories have been made for him, but will he be in the lineup today? As you can see on the screen, we have Onana, Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka in the back line. We've got Casemiro, Mainu, Bruno in the midfield, and then we have Garnacho, Antony, no Marcus Rashford, and then Højlund up top. That is how we're kicking it today. So let me know, first and foremost, everyone who's just joining in the comment section, what you think about that lineup. But obviously the biggest talking point, Chivet, is the fact that Rashford dropped, which is a bit of a surprise in it, considering how much he kind of overplays Rashford.
Remember, I think a month ago, we're saying this, like we wanted to, or I don't know if you were there, but I was saying that I wanted to see Antony on the left. Is he starting on the left?
I'm not sure, because you can only go off graphics. So he may well be doing, but I'd imagine it's Garnacho, because Garnacho's good on the left as well. So right, I'm guessing it's going to be Garnacho. But yeah, you might be right in it. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him on the left, honestly, because then he's more inclined to cross the ball or to pass it in rather than to try and shoot. So, and I think, I can't remember what game it was. Was it the Wolves game where he assisted from that angle, from the left-hand side?
Yeah.
And since then, you know, I was saying this with someone. I don't know if it was you or Sam, but I was saying this. I mean, we were talking about it, and we're saying we'd like to see him on the left. So hopefully that's one of them ones.
Yeah. But do you not think he'd be a bit one-dimensional on the left-hand side in terms of, because he's predictable, you know he's going to cut in on his left? Do you not think people would just show him on his right then, if he was on the left-hand side?
No, but at least we'll have someone trying to cross instead of always just trying to. Because Garnacho on the right-hand side is always cutting it through. Marcus Rashford on the right-hand side is doing the same thing. Everyone's just trying to shoot. We don't really have anyone trying to provide pass and assist sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that at least somebody would be trying to be a team player for once. But I think it comes a little too late, in my opinion. Like it's already too late for all these kind of changes and all that. Like the damage has already been done, really.
Yeah. It's a very good point. Erik ten Hag has spoken about this. He said, I decided for Marcus Rashford on the bench for rotation to keep him and the team fresh through a busy period with another big game on Sunday. Obviously, he's got his eyes on the Liverpool game as well. But equally, I mean, coming into this game, Chivet, it's no real positivity or eagerness to see us players there, because it kind of feels like, does this feel to you? In my opinion, I think it's a very even game. Even though Chelsea are 11th and we're 6th or whatever, I think this could go either way tonight. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so we haven't won in Stamford Bridge in the league in God knows how long. I don't remember the last time we won.
It's always draws, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be at least 6 or 7 years. I don't remember the last time we won at the Bridge. And every time it seems like we're going to get a result, something just kind of pops up and happens. I see a draw or a loss, one of the two. I think we'll lose this one, to be fair. Obviously, we've seen a change in personnel in terms of Rashford not playing. But if we don't see a change in system and style, I think we'll be punished by Chelsea. Yeah. So, it's one of them ones where I'm really not. I don't think I'm even watching the game, to be honest. Like I'd be half in, half out. Like I'm not really invested. I think something died.
I was just about to say, you look broken, mate, as a United fan. Are you just fed up with the football, basically?
Mate, I saw there was a moment of deja vu in the first half in Brentford that something just, and I haven't recovered from it like that. And I don't think anything would. I think it must have been like in the 20th minute, some around there. So do you remember when Ivan Toney hit the post the first time?
Yeah.
This was the lead up to it. So basically, the keeper has the ball, and our two, it's McTominay and Højlund are pressing the centre back from the front, and Bruno is behind them pressing one of the midfielders. Garnacho is kind of caught in between the goalkeeper who's on the ball and the wing back. He's not sure what to do, so he tries to run to the keeper. The keeper floats it over,
But that's because the wing back isn't committing to the press, innit? Do you not think?
Yeah. So he's free.
Yeah, yeah.
So he gets it, comes in, they try to play, they lose it, win it back. They walk the ball back to the goalkeeper
Mm-hmm.
and do exactly the same thing. And it was literally exactly the same play. And I was just sat there like, how am I seeing this? They did exactly the same thing. And this time it was too, because when the ball goes back to the wing back, Dallo is nowhere near there because he's got a winger on him. So that winger takes Dallo out of it. And McTominay has pressed the centre back so far off. Meno is all alone. And the ball just fed to Wissa easily. And he just does a one-time pass to Tony. And I was like, so why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, what am I?
Yeah, you expect improvement in it at the very least, like improvement. And it's weird because you do see flashes and sparks, but again, like it's the same theme under previous managers where they turn up, and that's why I have a big thing with the players on this, Chiv, is because they turn up when they want. They'll play really well and they'll press when they want. They don't do it continuously.
No, I don't agree with that because
You don't agree?
They're following instructions. This is what they're telling them to do. This is the instruction.
He's not telling the wing back not to press.
Who?
Ten Hag. He's not saying to the wing backs, don't commit to the press, stay back. I highly doubt that. Because what you're talking about there is when they're switching and there's space on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, the reason why that is because when they're pressing as like, let's say a front three or front four, whatever it is, Bruno, Garnacho, etc., the wing backs are staying back. They're not pushing on forward. So it breaks. They just play through the lines then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So then why bother? So why are we even bothering trying to press? If that's the case. Yeah. So why bother? Because what certain that does in less than 10 seconds, in less than 15 seconds, Kobe Mainu was literally, I mean, it happened twice. This was like deja vu where they go, they walk the ball back, they pass it back to the keeper. Like, all right, let's do it again. And it literally just works because every time they do it, McTominay is following instructions to press on the centre backs. And Mainu is alone with two midfielders. And he doesn't know what to do. Literally has no idea what to do.
But the reason why it's like that, though, Chive, like if you watch other teams, the way they press, Arsenal, for example, they all do it in unison. So I don't know why the other players, for example, Mainu's left on his own. You haven't got a wing back tucking in alongside him, keeping that, like Stones helps Rodri out or whatever it is. I don't know why. That may be down to coaching, it may be down to training. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm seeing this on the pitch. The wing backs are just like they're being kind of reserved. I'm like, push up, man, because if you push up, you contain him in that bit. If you leave gaps, they're obviously just going to exploit it.
Yeah, but anyway, regardless of who's at fault, the fact is that both of us can see it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's been addressed. So just to go back to, not to kind of go from the tandem, it just kind of, and since, after the first half, I didn't bother watching the rest because something just died inside of me. It's like, well, I just feel helpless now because the person I'm relying on to spot this problem and solve it isn't doing anything about it. Why are you going to press when you know that we can easily, it takes two passes, one to the keeper, to the wing back to Wissa. And that's it. And it happened twice, like literally deja vu. So it's like, I don't even know what to expect now. And, I really hope they win. But I don't know. It's just, the season is over. It's over, like for me. So
it doesn't help, does it, when you've got Liverpool, Arsenal, and City all fighting for a title, and we're sat there saying maybe we'll get fifth.
I mean, our three, well, apart from like Leeds and the rest, but like when it comes to like the top team, these are like our three biggest, most hated rivals, and all three of them are literally going for it. And
all three of them could win a trophy.
And especially when we were so positive at the end of last season.
I know.
I was over the moon, and just to see it crumble like this, like it's just,
it's saddening, isn't it? It is saddening because when you're conceding in the last game, I wanted to touch on that a little bit. You kind of covered bits in terms of what we can improve on or what you was unhappy with or unsatisfied with. But when you concede 31 shots to Brentford, to think that with another team like City is unfathomable. Like Arsenal are the only team to go and keep a clean sheet because they always score. They score in multiples. To get 31 shots for Brentford is like unheard. It really is unheard of. The fact that they hit the woodwork a couple of times as well, like they was all over us. And Brentford had won 2 in 10. They've been shocking. They've been absolutely shocking.
Yeah, they're 5 points off the drop at the moment.
It's crazy, isn't it? Watching like Luton, 20 shots. Like, I don't like. And do you see the Ten Hag quotes when he got asked about it?
Yeah, well, I saw the next day because after, like, I saw the next day and it was cringe. It was really cringy. I couldn't watch the whole thing, but then I read like on Twitter, like people put the whole course because I couldn't watch it. It was so cringe.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't bear to just hear him say that because I was fuming. I mean, I really like just distraught, like broken. And remember when we're saying it must have been like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I was saying to you that I think we'll beat Liverpool. This is before we played Brentford. We're still high off the Liverpool win.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I was like, man, I've got a lot of courage going into this one. But now I think they'll come and I I think they're gonna get their lick back. Like they'll get theirs back.
Yeah. Only Man United can go from, like, even if you go back to December, right? We bring it back against Aston Villa. A lot of people talking like it's the turning point. A lot of people are like, yeah, we're back. I see something in that performance where you can carry it into the next game. What happens in the next game? Beat off Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And battered, really. Weren't a great game. Like we was and cut backs again to the edge of the box. You think, right, okay, players are back now. Start of the year. People are fresh. Ten Hag, in fairness to him, does turn around and he does say, once my players are all fit and available, we'll win games. He went on a run, 7, 8 games. Won some tough ones. Molineux, which is always a tricky place for us to go. Aston Villa away, again, we ended up beating them. There was some tough fixtures in there that we won and we didn't lose. Then players go out injured again. And then the Fulham result. After Liverpool.
The Fulham and the Brentford games. But it's so funny because I think it was last year, Harry Maguire won like Player of the Month or something. Like a few of our players, and then Ten Hag won. It was like on a high, and then instantly we get brought down back to earth. And then just when it was, we're kind of building momentum again. We've gone 4 games without a loss, or like we've won 5. It was just, and then we just got brought down again. If we win today, like it doesn't matter if we win like 6-7-0, like it probably would infuriate me even more. Like I might even get more angry because what's the point now? Like winning because
it's like don't turn up now. It's fucking no point. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the point? Why are you turning up now? Like now that top 4 is gone, you're trying to turn up. Like don't even bother.
Yeah, there's a couple of opportunities to capitalise on points as well. You got Villa, who dropped points. I mean, let me just kind of preempt this with the fact that I don't think we're going to get Champions League football. I genuinely don't believe that. But I'm saying, like, Villa dropped points, Spurs dropped points. I think the week before, Spurs dropped points as well, or another team. So you look at it, you're like, if you would have just done your job, and we're only asking you to beat Brentford and Fulham, by the way. You were both been pretty poor on average this season. That's it. You would have done that. You probably would have got into the top 5. But I'm now sat here as a guy who likes Erik ten Hag, and I'd like to see him get a chance under the Ineos model. But it's almost undeniable, like, really, if you're only fighting for top 5, and if you only go so far. If we get beat in the final again off Man City, like, I'm already, do you know what I mean? And this sounds quite defeatist, but it's like, I've spoken to fans about it when I've put, not fans, but like rival fans, and like, oh, what you on about? Mainu's coming and done this. I'm like, mate, you need to watch United this season. We've been put through the ringer, mate, with so many things. Like, it's a roller coaster ride. It really is when you're a United fan, because you get your hopes up and you get fucking smashed to bits in proper average. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to Chelsea today and beat Liverpool. Genuinely, it could happen. It could happen, because this is what these players do, man.
Quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly. I think that's. But here's the thing about the manager that really just. It's like, if you have, like, I understand with the injuries, like we've really had like some terrible injuries, but a lot of the teams that we faced have also faced injuries as well. Like when we faced Brentford, they were like without their 2 starting centre backs. Like they had a few injuries as well. But I think the point I'm trying to make here is that if you look at the quality of the Brentford players or the quality of our players, you can't tell me that the Brentford players are better than ours on the ball or technically or whatever. But how is it that the manager is able to get the best out of them and play a system that's to their strengths to exploit us so easily? Now, on a normal day, like nobody is above being beaten. Like we've seen shocking defeats before. From Man City has lost to a few. Did they lose to Fulham?
Who? City?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
They've had a few. We've seen big teams like lose to small
Chelsea.
teams. Like
Chelsea themselves, they drew with them, didn't they? 4-4, I think.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah. So we've seen it where big teams meet a small team, and there's upsets happening in football. That is football. We've seen it over the years. But the manner in which we faced Brentford and we didn't have an answer to their game plan, and it was so easy for them to just literally walk through our defense without any response in the tactics. Like you can't put it all on the players and I really felt, we've all been critical of Scott McTominay, recently. But then when I watched the game, he's following instructions. He's being told to press up high. He's being told to, it's not like he's just doing this on his own. Because even one of the times when Garnacho was pressing, Bruno was giving him was indicating move forward, press. So these are instructions that are being fed out to these players. And it's not as if, it's not like they're just doing this on their own now. I think the only one that I would literally say has been terrible is Rashford, because you can just tell from his body language, there's something going on there. But I think for the rest of the players, I felt so bad for our defense because they did really well, but the midfielders, so it doesn't really fill me with joy. But let's see what happens against Chelsea. Who knows? We've seen freak results. Let's see if I know Spurs have Arsenal, Liverpool, and City in a row. Let's see what happens there. If we can manage. But I've given up.
I don't want to manage though. I want to get it on merit, like Champions League, and I want to win the trophies on merit. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to scrape through and just get it. Obviously, financially, it's going to be better off in it. There's no two ways about that. Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and that, they all want us to get Champions League football because it's just better in every aspect. But I don't want to get it because someone else fondles the bag. Do you know what I mean? I want to do it because we were good enough to get it.
Nick,
and I know,
Nick, if Arsenal win the league, and we end up in Europa, I don't think you ever see me again.
No, yeah.
I promise you.
No, you might have to have a year off, mate.
Yeah, if they win and we end up in Europe, I don't think you ever see me again. Literally. No. I would just you've seen the end of Endgame where you just go.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
Just everyone just fucking crumbles, mate.
Yeah. But back to your point. I get that. I'm literally just I'm literally just grasping onto whatever I can grasp.
Any kind
just
of hope.
Hoping, just hoping Spurs will draw, and it's probably not going to happen. But
let's bring it back to Chelsea a little bit because we are playing them today. We've spoken about United and how bad they've been for about 30 minutes, and it's easy to do. It's very easy to do.
My fault.
No. I'm happy. I'm not happy to do it, but it needs to be said. Absolutely. Chelsea themselves, I mean, they're not exactly in Wonderland. They've been struggling. The fans, shouting for Mourinho in the streets and shit. They've, people hate people hate Todd Bowley. They've got rid of a load of really important people there who's doing decent jobs, and it's just gone to shit. That, I mean, they're in the worst place than what we are. So that's saying something. Two big clubs that have dramatically fell off, but one player who's been really, really good for him is Cole Palmer, who's, in my opinion, one of the signings of the season. He's everything I want from Bruno. The class, the patience, the acute kind of through balls and stuff. And he's a Man United fan as well. He's from Wivenshaw. He's been running riot in the past couple of, I'd say probably 6 months now, especially. What have you made of him? And if he starts getting, kind of cutting on the inside and exploiting them spaces in midfield, it's going to be a long day for us, isn't it, if he's on it?
He's a top player. And he's one of them ones where you can just tell that it comes easy to him.
Yeah.
Decision-making in points. He's calm, patient, never looks rushed. it just seems natural. You know, this is what you see with people like Kobe and the rest of them. Like it's one of them ones. Didn't he score against us when we beat them?
In the last game at Old Trafford, he scored.
Yeah, scored against us. For everyone watching, if you're playing fantasy manager and you don't have him, like you're losing out. Like and he's young, isn't he? Like this was like his first like proper
21, I think.
Yeah, this is like his first proper season. So yeah, I mean he's the one I'm most afraid of. Him.
Is anyone else you like on Chelsea? Any other individual players that has caught your eye?
That I like admire.
Yeah,
I like Enzo.
You like him, fan of Enzo? Yeah.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of him. When we're linked to him as well, like I was really hoping we'd get him.
But prior to Chelsea, I'm saying, is in terms of how he's done at Chelsea, have you been impressed with him as well?
Nah, but you know, it's one of them ones where I think it's just the system. Like it doesn't fit in, like the system and the people around him. I still think he's a top player, and I think if you played him in a proper system, you know, you mentioned Bruno earlier on, and I was thinking about this recently. I think we have the wrong perception of what Bruno Fernandes is, because I don't think Bruno is that Odegaard or like the boy in a child.
Definitely not.
He's not. No. Bruno is he's almost like a second striker. Like that's where he's at his best. If you notice this season, he's been terrible. He goes off to Portugal, just balls out completely. Because he doesn't have time on the ball, he doesn't have time to make any decisions. He's the one, he's always either the last on the ball or the second to the last on the ball.
Yeah.
He's not the one thinking, you know. So he's not that 10, that creative 10 that we all think him to be. He's a lot more forward. He's almost like a second striker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't think his form has dropped off. I just think he's being played in a different position. But back to Cole Palmer before we go off on another tandem. He's the only one I'm really worried about, like really scared of in terms of. And I just have this freak feeling that Modric is going to score for some reason. I just have that at the back of my mind that Modric would just pull a mad one to do.
Could have a battle of the flops in it. Modric and Antony both getting on the score sheet. £160 million worth of talent.
What about Nkunku? Is he starting?
No, he's not available. He's injured. He's been injured for the majority of the season.
He came back at some point, and I don't know if.
Yeah, let's pull Chelsea's team up, because I could probably guess it, to be honest with you. I was having a look at a couple of lineups from the past previous games, so I'm guessing it's going to be similar, but we'll have a look. So, Petrovic, Gusto, who I'm a big fan of. I really, really like Gusto, top right back.
Oh, yeah. He's good.
Disasi, Badiashile, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher, Palmer, Jackson, Mudryk. That's who they've gone with there. So, obviously, Palmer's the one who's you're going to have to keep an eye on. But in terms of key battles across the pitch, you talk about the midfield again. Chelsea have £230 million worth of talent, is it? Something like that. Enzo, Caicedo. Gallagher's industrious, hard runner. I feel like we could get overrun. I know it sounds an obvious thing to say because United always do in midfield, but I'm talking with them three players specifically. I think they could look at that as like a triangle and really target. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I literally just I won't call it an epiphany, but I'm beginning to see your point about some of the players, because when Casemiro and Kobe play, none of them are actually as far up as McTominay is. So I don't know if maybe it's a different instruction for a different player. But if they can manage to stay compact together, I think man for man, I think we'll be able to,
it's because of the back line though. So when you put Maguire in the back line, you have to set it back. You have to sit almost on the edge of your 18-yard box to play to his strengths.
Yeah, because you get done for pace. Really.
Yeah, and then when the wing backs don't commit as well, that's why there's such a giant gap. Yeah. So it's like one way you're done or the other. Because if you play high line with Maguire, as well as I know, you're done for, mate. With especially players like Mudryk in behind and Jackson and these guys.
But why is that though? Because I think sometimes it's like the wingers actually take our wing backs away. So our wing backs literally, because when you have like a winger pressing high on them, they can't leave them free. So it's just one of them ones. But key battles. Midfield, definitely, but then we've never really had like a midfield battle all season because our midfield's usually like overrun.
Just been a
It's
midfield
usually
slapping.
it's usually just
Yeah.
like wing backs against wingers. Is literally what we see. Sometimes we see Dalot having a good game. Wan-Bissaka. I don't know if he's still gonna play left back, Wan-Bissaka, or if he's gonna.
Yeah, on the graphic, it's at left back and Garnacho's on the left side as well. So a bit of an odd pairing. I think that's probably the first time they've paired together on in terms of like Garnat at left wing and then Wan-Bissaka there. I'm not entirely sure.
How odd does that sound? Wan-Bissaka and Garnacho.
Exactly.
That's
But
weird,
again, that's no chemistry, no cohesion, never played on the same side again. Then Anthony's over on the right-hand side. He's played a couple of times with Dalot. He's more used to him. But
they
it's
speak the
just...
same language. Yeah, so it kind of.
Yeah, it's just all over the fucking out of the place. I wanted to talk to you about Mason Mount. Obviously, he's the big talking point. We've not even kind of breezed past that before.
Yeah.
Signed from Chelsea, a lot of money. A lot of people, from what I saw at least anyway, were writing him off at the start of the season before he even... What?
I was one.
Yeah.
Remember, I nominated him as flop of the team. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna
and
be
before he even kicked a ball, but sometimes it's one of those where people just aren't a fan of the player and they've watched him before. It is what it is. I'm absolutely fine with that. But I can see key ingredients in him in why he would be a successful player at United. Like, I like his unselfishness. I think he's a genuine, hard-working player. I think he's got talent. He's decent on both feet. I can see him working really well. Maybe not in this team, but I think he's a good player. I think he'd be an important player. What have you made of the little cameos that you've seen? Has he changed your mind at all in any of them, or are you still kind of, sticking with what you thought?
Yeah, I've never doubted with Mount's ability at all. And I like the fact that I'm one of those people that feel like he made his name, like he fought for his name, like it wasn't. Some players are kind of just touted to be this big player, and then they just kind of But I think Mason Mount actually fought for his name at Chelsea and for England as well. So I've never really doubted his ability. What I doubted was the profile of the player fitting into our team. That's because I didn't see where he was going to play. The only place he can play is in place of Bruno. But I'm never going to see how Bruno's going to be taken out the team
Because he
for
won't drop
Mason
him.
Mount. Exactly. So I couldn't see him playing the Eriksen role because he's just not that profile of a player. Like, to play that Eriksen role, maybe he'd be able to be more physical in terms of marking players, but that's the only thing he would do better than Eriksen in that deep role. As far as division, as far as finding players, as far as Eriksen is by far a better player in that aspect alone. I'm not saying he's a better player than Mount. I'm just saying, just in that aspect of finding players and sending those kind of crosses or those long passes and stuff. So it kind of took me by surprise because I didn't see where he was going to fit into the team. So my criticism wasn't him as a player. It was more to do with the profile. The little cameos we've seen, I haven't seen too much that gives me any hope. I still haven't seen the goal against Brentford.
It wasn't amazing. It was an all right fit. On his week 4, it's a decent finish, but it was nothing, to rave about, basically.
Yeah. And to be fair to Mason Mount, he's been injured for a lot of the season. A lot of times when we bring him in towards the end of the game, it's usually not in a position that he would kind of impact the game positively. So it's not like I don't think it's fair. I don't think I'll be giving a fair assessment or anyone. I don't know about you, but because I know you've always been like I don't want to say a fan of him, but you've liked the idea of Mason Mount.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe because you've probably watched him closer.
Do you know what? He's not a similar player to Ahmad. I'm not saying that, but if you look at the reports around him, and what players are saying about him in training and stuff, like for example, Ahmad when he was at Atalanta, when he came into United, people were like, this kid's amazing, but there was always something like what they need to work on to improve that second half of things. And Ahmad's was always the defensive work rate, which we saw in the Liverpool game when he came on. Like, he was grafting, he got back, made some really important tackles, and it looks like he's improved. I hope he gets some minutes tonight. Mason Mount, I see like a similar thing. I think he has a couple of things that he needs to work on. Like you mentioned there about his strength on the ball. I don't see him as like that physical, you know what I mean? Like someone who's amazing defensive player who can play as an 8 and kind of do both sides of the game. But in that final third, in terms of quick thinking on both feet, versatile, can play either side in either pocket. I mean, not like on the wing, but I mean, like if you're playing as an 8, he can drift over to the left side and make shit happen. He can drift over to the right, make shit happen. And every manager that's had him, Tuchel, Lampard, Southgate, whoever it is, has always played him because he's an integral cog in that team. And I can see that in him. I just think it's unfair to assess him that quick when he's had 4 or 5 starts in the Premier League, I think, for United since he's signed. I think once he gets some games under his belt, I wouldn't be opposed to playing him on the left, like where Anthony's playing, Garnacho's playing tonight. Sorry, I'd move Garner over to the right and then Mount there, or even opposed to Bruno being dropped, because I think Bruno's looked knackered in some of the games, and maybe he would have done if Mount was fit and available. But I just think he deserves a chance, and I like him. I like him as a player. I think he's an honest, good player. Not amazing. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to do stuff like that. But every team needs a player like Mason Mount.
He will win you games because he was very integral to the Champions League.
Yeah, got the assist in the final as well.
Yeah. He was a really good player in Champions League. So he can provide that. He can win you games. I just don't want to see him in a position where that doesn't, bring out his qualities. I'd like to see him, like I was saying to Shreyas, I think, I was saying it to someone that I wanted to see a midfield of Casemiro, Kobe Mino, and Ericsson as the Bruno role, or Mason Mount. Like, just try something different for once, and let's just see how it works. Because he's industrious. Fuck, like Mason Mount, like he would run himself to the ground for you. Yeah. So it's one of them ones where if you wanted like a high energetic team, if he went to the Bundesliga, he'd be awesome. Like he would be one of the top players there. Because he and if you play for like Jurgen Klopp or Nagelsmann, that rock and roll football I'd like to play, like Mason Mount would be ideal for that. But I just don't see how. I hope it goes well for him because apparently he's a Man United fan, or like, they grew up supporting Man United or something. So yeah, it'd be good to see, for him to actually live up to the hype. To be fair, because he's got the number 7.
Do you know what our stat I saw about the number 7 actually? The last time a number 7 scored for us before the one at Brentford was 18 months, I think. How crazy is that? Trying to think. Who's the 7 before Mount?
Oh, Cavani.
No, Ronaldo.
No, Ronaldo, Cristiano.
Ronaldo, yeah. In the Premier League, I think it was something like that, which is just absolutely nuts. But I think he'll come good. I think also as well, you see that Klopp really wanted him. Think about Liverpool. I think he would have been perfect for them in that cog. Not instead of like a McAllister or an Endo, but I think, if you got him instead of Gravenberch or something, I think he would have really, really worked well in there. And same with Arsenal. He was apparently like that close to joining Arsenal. It was almost all done. And Arteta was a huge fan of him. So he has qualities that a coach really likes. I just think we're yet to see him yet on a consistent basis. Just the last thing before, because the game kicks off in 15 minutes, I wanted to talk about the managers. You spoke about Ten Hag a bit, but if you was to do a comparison, because I remember probably about 2 years ago now, or almost 2 years ago now, when we had that debate, when we were saying, and I'm not saying you was all for Poch, but you argued aside why you think Poch could be okay. Again, not arguing against Ten Hag, but we was all Ten Hag, so you wanted to put a point out there. What have you made of both managers' progression since, at Chelsea with Poch and Ten Hag's this season? But go with Poch mainly, because we've covered a bit of Ten Hag, haven't we?
Well, this.
Oh, we lost him. Go on. Yeah, you're good. Go on.
Yeah. Are you good? Because I can't see you.
You liked a bit, but you're all right. Go on.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really seen that much of Chelsea too much like recently. But it's just been every time I saw them, they just look terrible. Like it's almost as if they just don't have any. They haven't been given any instructions, and I don't know if it's the same issue with us where they keep doing the same thing over and over, or if it's he keeps getting touched game and he keeps getting it wrong. I really don't know. And also, there's a lot of the pressure, all the money and everything that it's one of them ones where it gets to the players. So, but I think in general, if you did he come to Chelsea the same time Ten Hag came to Man United?
No, I think it was a little bit later because it was Graham Potter, I think.
All right,
Because that 1-1 draw that I think we was both at Old Trafford, we went to watch United and Chelsea. We was in separate seats, but I'm pretty sure you was at the game. I was at the game.
Yeah.
I think Potter was in charge at that game. When we drew, and then he got 6 months in, and then Poch came in. But Poch is like a squad builder, innit? You look at things that he's done at Tottenham, things he's done at Southampton, and then to bring him into Chelsea, where you've got all these £100 million players floating about and egos and long contracts, it's hard to manage. I know Poch likes his own print on the team, so he likes to work with younger players and bring them in that way.
Yeah, I think they had an identical sort of CV before. Well, I'm talking about Poch and Ten Hag. It was almost identical in terms of how well they've done and what they've done with like little money and all that. But I don't know. I think Poch. I think he should leave Chelsea. I think
I agree.
It's irreparable. Yeah, it's irreparable at this point. And I think for both parties, it's just better for them to just depart. Like, just call it a day, man, and you can move to, Villarreal or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
He'd probably have more success with Villarreal, wouldn't he? In fairness.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what Unai did. You went somewhere. You go to Spain, rebuild your reputation, and then come back and get a big job. So that's what they all do now.
Absolutely. Charles Sam saying, in my opinion, our best midfielder is Casemiro, or best midfielder is Casemiro, Mainu, and Mount. I've seen people going for that before. What made Eric Ten Hag bench Rashford? Tactics or fan pressure? Rio Ferdinand just said on TNT Live that apparently it's a knock. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's different. Apparently, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's playing crosses in from the right-hand side in the warm-up, which suggests he's starting on the right side of the defence, which is also interesting. So maybe we'll have Dalot and Garnacho, two inverted kind of players on the left side. Just a couple of stats here, Chivi, before we give our score predictions. Man United versus Chelsea is the most drawn fixture in Premier League history. 26 games that we drew. Man United are unbeaten in their past 11 Premier League games against Chelsea. 1-4, drawn 7. It's a 1-0 away loss in November 2017. So that's where we're at. Just a couple of stats there for you. I know you're not going to enjoy it, but I would like a score prediction if possible.
I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. Who do you think?
That's a very Nick score.
It is, yeah. But you're not wrong. We've watched United enough, mate, to know the crack with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you? Like, what are you going for?
And I hate to be that guy, but I'm the exact same. I can't. I think both teams are in. He's kind of floating up shit's creek without a paddle, struggling, not great in certain areas. I think Cole Palmer probably step up, and there's always someone who does something for us. You know what I mean? Whether it's Mount coming off the bench or Garnacho, we have that talent available to do that, but I can't see it. I'd be surprised if we put in a stellar performance tonight and battered them at Stamford Bridge. It'd be one of the biggest shocks of the season.
Is Ahmad?
Ahmad's on the bench. Yeah, I was going to talk about Ahmad, but we'll push the time a little bit. But yeah, I hope he gets minutes. I hope Mount gets minutes. So from a bench and a substitute perspective, we should be okay. We've got talent to bring on effectively. So let's see what happens. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Make sure you do leave a like on the video for us and get your score predictions in the comment section. Thank you for Chive for coming on, because I know it kills you talking about United nowadays, so it's not an easy watch. And if you do watch the game, then yeah, hopefully we enjoy it, and I'm sure we'll talk in the chat whilst it's ongoing.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Right, take it easy, guys. Enjoy the game. We'll see you after. Come and join us for the post-match build-up, post-match analysis. See you in a bit.